Today I'm going to show you how to paint these $5 cutting boards from the Dollar Tree and make them into fantastic gifts for your family and friends. All right, I have two stencils that I'm going to do here. I'm going to show you two different styles of painting your cutting boards. The first one I'm going to show you with a band. So I'm going to lay my stencil down and decide how big I want my band. So it's just going to be a band along the bottom. So you could charcuterie board at the top and have that hanging out at the bottom, be super cool. And you can always turn your cutting board over and serve on it on the other side. So we're going to measure with our T-square. And because I can't lip it over the edge because the stencil's down there, I'll just do it this way. I'm going to get out my triple threat Ghost Rider. This is a magic tool. It is a white ceramic lead, a gray ceramic lead, and a roller ball for tracing. And we're going to get our glasses. And I think if we go about 3 inches, I'm just going to make that mark. Use our T-square. All of our tools are available on StudioR12.com. You can see that in the links below. We're going to take a piece of tape. And we're going to make it that long. If you do this without tape, and you can, just know that it's way easier to do this with tape. Always tape in little sections, tack it down as I go. It's super easy to bend your tape. A lot of tape does bend, and so we want to do it as straight as we can, and then we use the back of our fingernail to bray that down. Your board should be fairly rough and ready to receive paint because it doesn't have a lot of finisher on it because it's a cutting board. And so then you'll take a flat brush. Oop, this is an oval glaze. Either is fine, flat or oval. What is important is that it is flat this way. If I use a foam brush, foam brushes can carry quite a bit of paint, so I can tickle along my tape line without forcing a lot of paint under, like the foam brushes can carry quite a bit of paint. So that's what I'm doing here, is going ahead and just feathering out the paint. Always shake your paint. This is acrylic paint. And my board is receptive. I've got this all brayed down. And so then we want to use our paint dry in our dry brush. I love these Dollar Tree cutting boards. They're super nice. They're doing this Dollar Tree and More thing now where you can get a really nice piece of something to paint on and not spend a lot of money, but have it be just like a lot nicer than it used to be before for $1.25. So now we'll take just that little bit of tipped paint. I'm going to start here, and then I'm going to go up here once I know how much paint I have, and I'm just going to feather it off of the tape onto the board. If I pushed it the other way, I might shove paint under my edge, so I don't want to do that. And then I want to be careful about getting too much on my edges. So on my edges, I might flick out so it sweeps off and doesn't cup under. These are all kind of the little minuscule tips that you get when you watch people that have been painting for like a million years. It just helps to have somebody use their experience to show you. Okay, so we'll just get that based. We'll dry it, we'll base it again, and we'll do this in fast time. All right, we are done. We've got 3 coats on here, and it feels pretty dry. And so now when we peel our tape, there's really a method to peeling tape, and you'll do it the wrong way once, and then you'll be happy that you know about this. So what you want to do is turn your board, and you want to make a right angle with your tape. So you're going to fold the tape back on itself. So you want to do it just like that so it doesn't peel and chip. It causes a little cutting edge, and it is a really good way to do that. So then what we're going to do is we're going to switch to our other board because this needs to dry before I tape on top of it. All right, so for board number 2, I want to show you how to replicate wood burning or laser etching on your cutting board. So you can do that with the stencil. If you've ever gotten a custom-made cutting board done, they can be very expensive. So if you have somebody, a friend that has moved and needs a housewarming gift, and you just want to show them something really cool, give them something affordable, don't break the bank, this can be the way to do it. So we're gonna take this coordinates. This is on StudioR12.com, and you can look up the coordinates. And this says where our story began, where my story began. So that could be a child being born. So that could be a really fun birthday gift for somebody that's older. Like I was born in Nebraska, but I've moved around as an Army brat my whole life. So this would be a really cool thing to have Nebraska coordinates there as my whatever. And then also you can do your wedding place if you got married in Hawaii or whatever. There's so many things you can do with this, but I'm going to do it without the top, and I'm going to do it just with the bottom. So I want to, and I'm going to do it without a background. So I want to just get that positioned. This fits like exactly on here. I'm going to get it taped. I'm looking at the bottom edge and the side edges for straightness, and then I'm going to give it 2 pieces of tape. Always tape in 2 pieces, and I'll show you why right here. And just oops, I just slid everything around. If I only tape in one place, then I have a mess. So we want to just be aware of that. I think there might be, this has got a little bit of slick to it because my tape lifted up. So just be aware of that. If you feel like your cutting board has any, if, say you found one at Goodwill or at a garage sale and you felt like there might be something on it, give it a light sand with a 220 grit and then wash it with the Zep multi-purpose cleaner. And that Zep will take the grease and the stuff off of it. So that is a way that you can protect yourself from something being on there if you didn't know about it. And now what we're gonna do is we're gonna make an etching color, a burn color. And we're going to use our number 17 paint, which is a brown. And I'm going to mix it with the black, which is number 28. I want to just rich up the brown. I don't want it to be so light. And then I'm going to use my palette knife. This is a really nice little Italian palette knife. Super flexible, makes it really easy to mix your colors. And I saw a little bit of irregularity on this board. This is a brand new surface for me from the Dollar Tree. I've painted on cutting boards plenty, but the bamboo-ness of this has a little bit of ridges, and I'll show you that in just a second. In order to prevent anything from bleeding under my stencil, I'm gonna take a precaution that I don't normally do, but because of the grooves of this cutting board, it's gonna be needed here. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do my first stencil coat. A lot of people that do vinyl stencils use decoupage medium or something like that. Any clear medium will work. So I'm gonna do matte varnish under my first coat in a nice thin coat, and anything that will bleed under will just barely show, and then I'll go on top of it, and that should prevent any of those little escapey rivets going on. We're gonna use a dome brush. If you've ever stenciled and bled under your stencil, you wanna make sure you're using a dome brush. The flat brushes, the way that they are, when you push down, it causes their little hairs to fray out and or splay out, and then that causes your stencil to push stuff underneath the stencil material. So you wanna make sure that you don't have that going on, and we're gonna just use a little bit of our medium. We're still gonna offload, and then we're going to stipple straight up and down. Okay, now one important thing about doing this undercoat of a clear medium, you don't want to lift your stencil and peek, because what you want to do is have it seal the stencil down to the surface. So no peeking on this and no ruffling the edges with the blow dryer. You want to let it either dry naturally or hold it down when you blow dry it. All right, now I've got a different dry brush. You want to make sure that you don't use your brushes wet. So if I even have that clear medium, I'm going to put that brush in the water and clean it off. Never leave your brushes out, because if you leave them out, then they will harden and then you'll ruin your brushes. So be careful about that. We're going to pick up just a little bit of paint on the tip of our dry brush. So that's what that looks like. Not very much. And then we always, always, always offload. I would rather do 2 or 3 thin dry coats than to do one heavy coat and have to clean up. Cleanup is horrible with stencils. So now we will stencil on our details. All right, now for my final coat, I'm gonna go ahead and dry between my coats. I think it's dark enough now, but I'm gonna give it a very light swirl, and I'll bring you back when I get blow dried and I'll show you how I do that. I'm gonna get into my brown, wipe off as much as I can. As you load your brush, it's gonna get heavier and heavier in the middle, so you'll have to wipe a little bit harder as you go. So then just very gently, this will just even out your stenciling, and it's just a really nice technique to get everything from edge to edge. All right, let's take a look. Turn it around. Ta-da! Notice how the sticking sound, listen. That's perfect. So that technique with the matte varnish underneath is just absolutely brilliant. All right, so if you take a look at what happened here, I taped, I ran my thumbnail along it, and I had a little bit of the bleeding, and that like never happens for me. I actually have a hard time getting bleeding. So what we're gonna do is I'm gonna hit this with a blow dryer one more time just to make sure. If you have fresh paint and you tape on top of it, it's very easy to pull it off. So this is very, very, very important. So I'm gonna hit it with high heat blow dryer, get it nice and cured, and then I'll be right back. All right, so I've got that nice and dried, and then I cooled it off, and everything feels nice and even. I'm not gonna play too much with sticking down the white side of this, and I'll show you what that looks like. So we want to just straighten out that lip. Just gonna tape it nice and strong on the edge and not play on the other side. And then we'll go here and give it a second band. This one, oops, hi, I moved it completely. You could measure this or you can eyeball it. So because I don't have any paint on this one, I'm gonna spray it down nice and heavy. And I am gonna put a coat of the varnish on first. So I'll go into my varnish, same as I did the last time, and stipple straight up and down. All right, we've got an ink sweeper here, and this is like a dome brush. It's dome this way, and it's super dense and super hard to like mush out. So I'm gonna apply a coat of paint, and I'm gonna tap it off like I'm offloading. These are the best for doing larger, wide areas. And if you stipple on a long, wide area like this, it's very easy to get little kind of polka dots. I'm using very light pressure. I'll sink my brush down into the water or my foam brush down in there with my other brushes to keep it buried. And then we will peel our tape off the same way as before. Look at that crisp, crisp, crisp line. That's perfect. And then we peel this guy off. Perfection. Let me get it dry and then we'll put our stencil on. All right, we're ready for our stencil. So in this case, I've got my freshly painted black and I've got my band, and I don't want to interrupt either of them. So I'm going to do an old trick that I know about, which is to tape in 2 spots over something that's big in here. So I'm going to tape right over that Ohio emblem. I'm going to mix my number 13 and my number 34. This one seemed too light and this one seemed too dark, so I'm going to mix them together. About 1 to 1. And now we stencil the letters. In this case, I'm not going to undercoat these with the matte varnish because I think the paint has filled in our lines. I can do my G and then I can inspect and see. So let's take a peek and see if that's true. That looks really clean to me. Okay, now I have to tape on my project. I'm gonna untape here. I'm ever so lightly gonna put that tape over and connect it to the two sides without taping my black. I got just a little bit inside my Ohio State, but I think what I'm gonna do is undercoat it with gray. I'm just gonna swirl. Red base coats terribly. So we're gonna swirl it and get an even gray coat underneath. I'll dry that and do one more. And then the gray acts as a buffer between, so black is here, white is here, and the red is in the middle. By doing a gray, it brings it up really close to where that red is, and it undercoats for you, and it takes way less coats. All right, the color I'm gonna use is number 18. It's my classic kind of a country red burgundy color. I'm gonna flip my brush wiper over, and then I'm gonna get a couple multi-maskers. These are invaluable. You need this tool. We created it here. It is ours. This is how you can prevent from painting on top of other things that are nearby, like I did with that letter P. And so I can just hold these two down while I'm painting, and then it will mask everything. We'll hit that with a blow dryer and do one more coat. Okay, we are ready to reveal. Here is, oh, and you can hear that nice satisfying peel. And look at how nice and crisp and awesome that is. The next thing I'm going to show you is how to seal this so it will be food safe if you want it to be. Okay, I have a product called Clapham's Beeswax. It is a food safe wax, and it is amazing for kids' toys if you're painting things. It goes over your painted project and it makes things food safe. Wax is one of the hardest finishes that you can use, and this is amazing. You can reapply it if you've maybe bathed this in water and had 3 parties in a row and you just want to redo it. You can just put it right over your clean, dry surface. So it looks like it's a really little container, but this really lasts a very, very long time. So I'm gonna get my paper towel into shoe shine position. I'm an Army brat, so I actually used to shine shoes for my dad. So you get this nice rounded paper towel area, dip it in there, and then you are just going to spread that over the entire one side of your surface. You let that dry and give it maybe an hour or two, even tomorrow, and then come back with the clean side of a paper towel or a t-shirt, and then give it a good buff. You want to just kind of buff that all in, and if you want to at that point, you can reapply another coat. Here are 2 fabulous examples of quick, easy, and affordable projects that you can make from the Dollar Tree using StudioR12 Stencils. Make sure if you love this content, give us a thumbs up, subscribe and ring the bell, and you will be subscribed for when we have brand new content.